The legality around this is very difficult to predict because a lot of this is basically untested in its essence by the courts. And so this is uncharted territory for the most part. The discussion that we kind of began with last week had to do with, as the board would recall, the Leary versus U.S. case from 1969, in which the defendant Timothy Leary argued to the United States Supreme Court successfully that when at the time the U.S. Supreme Court was trying to, or the federal government was trying to tax marijuana and the states had unanimously declared marijuana to be a crime, the court did, in effect, basically ruled that the Fifth Amendment of the United States Constitution prohibited that particular arrangement because basically the only way a person would be able to pay the tax would be if they also then admitted to committing a crime, was what the court basically handed down at that time. Of course, that was not this exact posture. That was a time when the federal government, like I say, was trying to tax and the states had declared the activity to be illegal. And so that provides us some guidance, perhaps, in regards to what a judge would be examining if this were to be challenged in court. As we discussed yesterday, and I'm sure the board would recall, the two most likely paths into a courtroom for this kind of an ordinance would be one, potentially, and again, not possible really to predict this, but looking at your various possibilities, the state could possibly challenge asking the court for declaratory judgment and basically say the county has overstepped its authority, which had been described in what is known as Measure 91. Then the court could examine whether the county, in fact, can enforce this sort of an ordinance. Number two would potentially be if somebody were to challenge the county's attempt to charge them a tax, and basically the county were then to lodge an enforcement action, then by issuing a citation and going through the standard procedures, then potentially that could wind up within a courtroom as well for the court to consider the legalities of the ordinance. And so what the judge would do once he or she actually got the ordinance for consideration, there's just not a lot of precedent really for either side to reflect upon. The voters of the state of Oregon did pass Measure 91 last year, and Measure 91 did have language in it that addresses the particular issue of local jurisdiction taxation. And so it looks like the state is trying to, and has actually got language in its statutory code now, that would try to preempt county taxation in regards to the issue of cannabis and marijuana.